Hello friends, myself Professor Vinod Desai, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, EITM, Belagavi. Today I will discuss about visible surface detection methods. In that, let us understand the classification of visible surface detection algorithms, means different types of visible surface detection algorithms. Here we can broadly classify visible surface detection algorithms according to whether they will deal with the object definitions or with projected images. So there are two approaches. The first one is object space methods, and the second classification is image space methods. An object space method, it compares objects and parts of objects to each other within the scene definition to determine which surfaces as a whole we should label as visible. But in an image space algorithm, visibility is decided point by point at each pixel position on the projection plane. So most visible surface algorithms will use image space methods, although the object space methods can be used very effectively to locate visible surfaces in some cases. Means image space method is the most widely used method here. The line display algorithms, for instance, they generally use object space methods to identify visible lines in wireframe display. But many of the image space visible surface algorithms can be adopted to the visible line detection. Although there are many differences, that is the major differences in the basic approaches which is taken by the various visible surface detection algorithms. So the most used, of course, most of them will use sorting and coherence methods to improve the performance. Sorting is used to facilitate depth comparison by ordering the individual surfaces in a scene according to their distance from the view plane. But the coherence methods are used to take advantage of regularities in a scene. An individual scan line can be expected to contain the intervals. Intervals means runs here, right? So an individual scan line can be expected to contain intervals of constant pixel intensities and scan line patterns. Of course, they will openly change little from one line to the next line. The animation frames, they contain changes only in the moving objects, and the constant relationships can be established between the objects in a scene. So this is all about the classification of visible surface detection algorithms. So basically there are two main types. One is object space method and other one is image space methods. In that, the image space methods are most widely used methods. Next important concept is backpace detection. It is a fast and simple object space method for locating the backpaces of a polyhedron or polygon, which is based on the front back test. A point x, y, z is behind a polygon surface if ax plus by plus cz plus d less than 0. Here a, b, c and d are the plane parameters for the polygon. When this position is along the line of sight to the surface, then we must be looking at back of the polygon. Therefore, we could use the viewing position to test for the back faces. We can simplify the back face test by considering the direction of the normal vector capital N for a polygon surface. If we view is a vector in the viewing direction from our camera position, which is shown in the figure 1, is this particular figure. Then the polygon is a backface if view dot n is greater than 0. Furthermore, if the object descriptions have been converted to a projection coordinates and our viewing direction is parallel to the viewing ZV axis, then we need to consider only the Z component of the normal vector capital N. In a right-handed viewing system with the viewing direction along the negative ZV axis, which is shown in the figure 2, that is in this particular figure, a polygon is a backface if the Z component, that is C, of its normal vector capital N satisfy the condition C less than 0. Also, we cannot see any face whose normal has the Z component C equal to 0 because our viewing direction is grazing that polygon. So in general, we can label any polygon as a backface if its normal vector has a Z component value which will satisfy the inequality C less than or equal to 0. So this condition is very important. So with this condition, you can decide that any polygon as a backface or any polygon can be labeled as backface if it satisfies this particular condition, that is C less than or equal to 0. So this condition. Similarly, the methods can be used in packages that will employ a left-handed viewing system. In these packages, the plane parameters A, B, C and D, they can be calculated from polygon vertex coordinates which are specified in a clockwise direction. The inequality which will remain a valid test for points behind the polygon. Also, the backfaces have the normal vectors that point away from the viewing position and are identified by the condition C greater than or equal to 0 when the viewing direction is along the positive ZV axis. By examining the parameter C for the different plane surfaces describing an object, we can immediately identify all the backfaces. For a single convex polyhedron such as the pyramid, which is shown in the figure 2, that is in figure 2 I have shown a pyramid, right? So this will test, or this test will identify all the hidden surfaces in the scene because each surface is either completely visible or completely hidden. Also, if a scene contains only non-overlapping convex polyhedron, then all the hidden surfaces are identified with the backface method. For the other objects such as the concave polyhedron, which is shown in this particular figure, so it is an illustration of a concave polyhedron. So here more tests must be carried out to determine whether there are additional faces that are totally or partially hidden by the other faces. A general scene can be expected to contain overlapping objects along the line of sight, and then we need to determine where the hidden objects are partially or completely hidden by the other objects. In general, the backface removal can be expected to eliminate about half of the polygon surface in a scene from the further visibility test. So this is all about backface detection. Then the next important concept is depth buffer method. It is a commonly used image space approach for detecting the visible surfaces. It will compare the surface depth values throughout a scene for each pixel position on the projection plane. Each surface of a scene is processed separately, one pixel position at a time across the surface. The algorithm is usually applied to the scenes containing only the polygon surfaces because the depth values can be computed very quickly and the method is easy to implement. But we could also apply the same procedures to non-planar surfaces. This visibility detection is also frequently included as the Z buffer method because the object depth is usually measured along the Z axis of a viewing system. However, rather than using the actual Z coordinates within the scene, the depth buffer algorithm compute a distance from view plane along the Z axis. The figure shows, that is figure number 4. So this the implementation of the depth buffer algorithm is typically carried out in normalized coordinates so that the depth values range from 0 at the near clipping plane to 1.0 at the far clipping plane. Means the depth values are in the range from 0 to 1.0, that is at near clipping plane to the far clipping plane. They are in the range from 0 to 1.0. As implied by the name of this method, there are two buffer areas are required as the name suggests. So there are two buffer areas are required in this method. One is depth buffer, which is used to store depth values for each xy position as surfaces are processed, and the second one is frame buffer, which will store the surface color values for each pixel position. Initially, all the positions in the depth buffer are set to 1.0, which is the maximum depth, and the frame buffer or the refresh buffer is initialized to the background color. Each surface which is listed in the polygon tables are then processed one scan line at a time by calculating the depth value at each xy pixel position. This calculated depth is compared to the previously stored value in the depth buffer for the pixel position. If the calculated depth is less than the value stored in the depth buffer, that is the previous value, then the new depth value is stored. Then the surface color at that position is computed and it is placed in the corresponding pixel location in the frame buffer. The depth buffer processing steps are summarized here in the algorithm. I'll discuss that algorithm in the next slide, right? So this algorithm assumes that depth values are normalized on the range from 0.0 to 1.0 with the view plane at the depth equal to 0 and the farthest depth equal to 1. We can also apply this algorithm for any other depth range, and some graphics packages will allow the user to specify the depth range over which the depth buffer algorithm is to be applied. Within the algorithm, the variable z, it represents depth of the polygon, that is the distance from view plane along the negative z axis. That is what the representation z is. Here I am illustrating the actual depth buffer algorithm, and you can see the steps of this particular algorithm. So the first step is initialize the depth buffer and the frame buffer so that for all the buffer positions xy, depth buff of xy equal to 1.0, frame buff of xy equal to background color. This is what the initialization is. Then process each polygon in the scene one at a time, which is as follows. For each projected xy pixel position of a polygon, calculate the depth z, which is not already known. If z is less than depth buff of xy, then compute the surface color at that position and set depth buff of xy equal to z, and also set frame buff of xy equal to surface color of x comma y. After all the surfaces have been processed, the depth buffer contains the depth values for the visible surfaces and the frame buffer contains the corresponding color values for those surfaces, that is the visible surfaces. This is what the actual depth buffer algorithm. Given the depth values for the vertex positions of any polygon in a scene, we can calculate the depth at any other point on the plane containing the polygon. At surface position xy, the depth is calculated from the plane by using this particular equation, that is z equal to minus ax minus by minus t whole divided by c. For any scan line which is shown in this particular figure, so for any scan line, the adjacent horizontal x positions across the line which is differ by plus or minus 1, and the vertical y values on the adjacent scan lines which are differ by plus or minus 1. If the depth of position xy has been determined to be z, then the depth z dash of the next position is x plus 1 comma y along the scan line, which is obtained as z dash equal to minus a in bracket x plus 1 minus by minus t whole divided by c, or it is simplified as z dash equal to z minus a divided by c. So this z you can obtain from this particular equation, so that you can able to simplify this particular equation into z dash equal to z minus a by c, where z dash indicates the depth of the next position or depth value for the next position x plus 1 comma y along the scan line. The ratio minus a by c is a constant for each surface, so the succeeding depth values across the scan line are obtained from the preceding values with a single addition. Here, processing the pixel positions from left to right across each scan line, we can start calculating the depth on a left polygon edge that will intersect the scan line which is shown in this particular figure, that is figure 6, which will illustrate how the scan lines intersecting a polygon surface. For each successive position across the scan line, we can calculate the depth value using the previous equation, that is z dash equal to z minus a by c. We can implement the depth buffer algorithm by starting at a top vertex of the polygon. Then we could recursively calculate the x coordinate values down the left edge of the polygon. The x value for the beginning position on each scan line can be calculated from the beginning x value of the previous scan line by using this particular equation, that is x dash equal to x minus 1 by m, where m is the slope of edge. M indicates slope of the edge, which is shown in this particular figure, that is figure 7, which will illustrate the intersection positions on a scan lines along a left polygon edge. The depth values down this edge, they are obtained recursively as z dash equal to z plus a by m plus b whole divided by c. If we are crossing down a vertical edge, the slope is infinite and the recursive calculations will reduce to z dash equal to z plus b by c. One slight complication with this approach is that, the disadvantage of this approach is that while the pixel positions are at integer xy coordinates, then the actual point of intersection of a scan line with the edge of a polygon may not be. As a result, it may be necessary to adjust the intersection point by rounding its fractional part up or down, which is done in the scanline polygon fill algorithms. An alternative approach is to use a midpoint method or a Bresenham type algorithm for determining the starting x values along the edges for each scan line. The method can be applied to curved surfaces by determining the depth and color values at each surface projection point. For the polygon surfaces, the depth buffer method is very easy to implement and it requires no sorting of the surfaces in a scene. But it does require the availability of a second buffer in addition to the refresh buffer or the frame buffer. A system with a resolution of 1280 by 1024. So the system with this particular resolution, for example, it require over 1.3 million positions in the depth buffer, with each position containing enough bits to represent the number of depth increments that are needed. One way to reduce the storage requirement is to process one section of a scene at a time using the smaller depth buffer. After each view section is processed, the buffer is reused for the next session of the session. In addition, the basic depth buffer algorithm, it performs needless calculations, of course, n number of calculations. The objects that are processed in an arbitrary order so that a color can be computed for a surface point that is later replaced by a closure surface. To illustrate this problem, some graphics packages provide the options that will allow a user to adjust the depth, which is range for the surface testing. This allows the distant objects, for example, which are to be excluded for the depth test. Using this option, we could even exclude the objects that are very close to the projection plane. The hardware implementations of the depth buffer algorithm are typically an integral component of sophisticated computer graphics systems. Thank you. Thank you.